Hey, what's up? My name is Leslie, and I thought I'd take some time to appreciate and go over some of the art in the new Lorwyn release that's coming out soon, if it's not out already. So, just started Magic like less than 3 months ago. Someone told me about the Avatar release that came out last year, and I'm a pretty big Avatar fan, so I decided to give Magic a try. I don't, I can't look at a card and be like, oh yeah, this is great. Like it's a whatever, you know. I've been watching a lot of videos and they're just like breaking down like the different mechanics, and they're like, oh yeah, this is like this card and this does great in like what is it, constructed and standard and all these other words I'm trying to learn, but it's been fun. But I did want to like sit down and give input on the art for this new set because it's so cool. um I am an illustrator, I'm an artist. I do have an art history degree, so I'm qualified to overanalyze things and make up stuff and make it sound good. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this and show you what my personal top 15 cards are. So stay tuned. Okay, now hear me out. Wait, don't click off yet. Okay, so number 15, I chose Oko Lauren Liege. Yeah, I when I first saw this character, I was playing Arena and they had the holiday icons up, and they had Oko and he just had a scarf, and I saw it and I was like, am I in the same game? Is this right? Like someone's trolling me? What is going on? I was like, what the heck is this? But I think the character kind of grew on me as time went on. Like when other people saw that he was um, coming back for Lorwyn Eclipsed, they were kind of excited. So I'm like, okay, he's not like just some random character who like runs around with his shirt off. So it's like, maybe he's cool. Yeah, I did. I did put him on number 15. So I'm half serious, but I'm like kind of joking at the same time because he's just there because he's one of my favorite characters. But um, just looking at the card, it is kind of like your textbook example of a character illustration. Like it's just a background that it's kind of like faded and the edges aren't as sharp to give more focus on the character that is in the forefront. He's the focal point, so he's sharper and he's more saturated. When there's not as much detail, but the colors and everything are on point. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Okay, so moving on to number 14, I have Mutable Explorer. One thing I did forget, I was watching a podcast where they were talking more about the art and the artist, and one of the people in charge, she said that she chose artists who had like a traditional look. And for anyone who doesn't know what that means, it's basically someone who uses like physical medium like pencils and paint, things like that to make art instead of using a tablet or computer software. So they said that about 80% of the art in this set is traditional, like made in a physical space, and I was like, what in the I couldn't tell. So thought it would be fun to go through this and see if I can guess which ones are traditional and which ones are digital. I'm not gonna look it up during like the recording, but after I finish, I'm going to go back and then see if I was correct, and I'll put it up on the video. So if you want to play along, yeah, have your guesses in before I finish each piece to see if you were also right. But anyway, going back to this particular piece, I think it's traditional, uh, and even though the colors are really saturated, they're not as saturated as something that would be digital. And Yeah, it looks traditional to me, so that's what I'm thinking. But anyway, going to the piece itself, I think the changelings are so adorable. Are the shapeshifters, like their big eyes and the fact that they just make stuff like I didn't really notice this until I did a little bit more research, but even the backpack and then the little lamp that it's carrying is a part of itself, and the little boots too. Now that I'm looking at it, like that's so cute. And then just the overall piece in general, the colors are working really well together. The artist stuck with blues and greens. Even though there's like a little bit of yellow, it's still like closer to green on like the color wheel. So I think that's a really good choice of colors to keep the harmony. And yeah, I think it's a really good execution. So yeah. All right, next. Okay, I really enjoy this piece. This is so funny to me. So up next we have Tweez, and I love this because it gives you just like a short glimpse into like the everyday lives of the people, or sorry, not the people. I think they made a choice not to have humans in this world. So the different like creatures here, we have a giant and a fairy, and the fairy's like plucking out his nose here. Like, what is that? That is so funny. So I had to include that just for the storytelling that they have in this. And then going to the composition, you can see that there's a contrast between the giant's face and even the fairy too. Like they're leaning towards red. Like the color palette is very warm. The fairy itself is just like straight up red, and then the giant, the skin tone is pushing those reds a lot. And even like his hat and his hair too, are very warm. But in the background you have a blue sky and then the mountains in the background. And there's this really cool thing that happens if you haven't noticed it before. Like next time you're out, if you look at something like really far in the distance on a sunny day, then you'll notice like the blue kind of starts to fade things in the background. And yeah, that's just a really fun card. All right, moving on. So up next we have High Perfect Morcant, and I like this card for almost the same reasons that I like the Oko card. Like you have to admit that is a very, very nice pair of legs that this woman has on her, or this elf. Sorry, this elf has is very, very well executed. But anyway, yeah, I remember someone posted. I think the artist posted this on Reddit, and everyone's freaking out because they're like, "Oh, it's so good." They were able to get a really good camera shot where it's kind of like below and like to the side, and that's pretty hard to pull off. I think there was like a meme going around with Firin. Someone drew her and it was kind of like the same angle, but the chin was like super wide. So this particular artist who did the High Perfect Morcant, they know their angles, they know how to draw like the face underneath and get all the details and make it have form while making it also anatomically correct. So yeah, that's pretty hard to do, and they did it well. And then also, like I was saying with the previous one with Tweez, this one, it also has that contrast, but in addition to being like warm and cool, there's also just the contrasting colors. You have your green and red, and those are directly across from each other on the color wheel. So the artist did a good job with having the elf in the forefront be tinted like red, and then everything in the background being green. So that was really good. And then also the edges are great, but also the details are really crisp, and you can tell what's going on with this. Like the way they have like the thin highlights on like the arm and the leg at the top, and then like the headpiece and the different jagged things that are like coming out from her armor, like the way they did that and had those like thin pieces of light to highlight the different details was done very well. Now, the reason why it's not higher on the list is because there isn't much going on, so it's very well executed. A lot of technical things are really working well with this piece, but I just didn't put it higher because it's not very like narrative heavy, but it's still really good, so I still wanted to highlight it. Okay, and at number 11, before I get into top 10, I wanted to put in the paper cutouts. I think this was so cool. So I'm not sure how many there are exactly. I want to say there's like 10, but these are the special guest cards, and the special guests, they did cutouts where it's basically where you just use, I think a lot of people use like cardboard or like stock paper. Not carb. Don't listen to me. Sorry, I forgot. I think it's like construction paper and like stock paper. Sorry. Anyway, basically you use paper to get like the big shapes and kind of show the different here, especially if you look at her sleeves. Like I really love this part where the top part of the sleeve, it's like one color, and it's cut out to look like ruffles, but then you have like the blue triangles underneath the ruffles to give that sense of like 3D. So that's basically what it is. It's like you're using paper to get the big shapes and kind of make it look like it has form. And then also you can tell like they also probably use maybe colored pencil, watercolor pencil to give it a little bit more color and make the gradients a little bit softer. You can tell like where the woman here is, or the elf here, I don't know. The elf here is touching the tree and it's like glowing, so that part they might have like painted or colored to get like the soft glow to make it look like a glow, like there's light, because that's something you can't do with like the sharp edges of paper. But I think having paper cutouts is a really like unique way to show the illustration or like illustrate a card, and I think it really goes well with like just the world of Lorwyn in general. Like it's very handmade quality to everything. So I like how they decided to go with paper cutouts for some of these cards to mesh very well with the overall look of Lorwyn. So yeah, I've had like the different ones going by just to show all of them because I think they all need to be like highlighted and really appreciated. I chose this one in particular as my favorite because I think it's amazing how they were able to get the wrinkles and add the lines without taking away from the paper quality of it, and the colors here are like really nice. Again, like sticking kind of closer to the cool tones except for the skin, and that kind of like stands out a little bit. So like when you look at it, the first thing you notice is her face, and then you kind of get to branch out from there and just see the different the bark on the tree and like the leaves in the background and everything. So yeah, it's a really, really cool, really neat way to illustrate a card, like I said. So awesome. Wanted to shout that out. Oh, and I just forgot that quick that I was going to guess which ones are traditional and which ones are digital. So going back a couple of cards. So Tweez, I'm going to say that one is digital. And Hyperfect Morcon, I'm pretty sure is digital. Obviously, Devoted Druid and all the paper cutouts are traditional. But going on to the next one, we have Mirror Form. So this is another Changeling piece, and it's by the same artist, and it's so cute. I love it. It's really... I put this one higher in the top 10 because I love how it's showing the reflection has like a mind of its own, and then the changeling like in the actual world is like different. It has a different pose, and he's surprised too. He's like, what is happening? So yeah, it's really cool. So I'm going to say that this one is traditional because one way you can tell, and I really hope it is, because I'm gonna say this and watch it not be that, and I'm gonna sound stupid. But in most cases, sorry, when you layer different colors together in traditional, it's really hard to get things opaque. Like the top layer is opaque because the layer underneath is really easy for it to show through. In contrast with digital, when you have like a lighter color on top of a dark color, but that lighter color is really opaque and really solid looking, it's a pretty good giveaway that it was digital, because you just have the pixels replacing the pixels. And unless the artist wants those to like blend together, there's a clear distinction, and the edges and the color are very, very opaque, and that's something that's really hard to do with traditional, especially when you're painting. So yeah, going with traditional for this one. Another thing I wanted to point out, I think they call it the fable border on the side, where it's like really like squiggly and stuff. It's really cool, and I think this piece really goes well with that border. Like it kind of seems like an extension of the cave itself, even though it's not like a full art card. So yeah, another reason why I kind of put this a little bit higher and compared to the other ones by the same artist. But yeah, all right, moving on. Okay, so for number 9, I chose the full art Lorwyn swamp. This one is just really cool. Aside from, I think it's interesting with Lorwyn. They said they didn't want like a distinct like good versus evil. I think it's interesting the way they dealt with the swamp, where it's not like overtly like creepy and in your face, but like the more you look at it, it's just like you have the meat hanging down. And then I love the way they have the hut, where it's like the eyes, and the window looks like a mouth, and it looks like it's like reaching out. The branch on the side is, it's almost like a hand. So yeah, that's really cool. And I'm gonna say that this one is digital. I'm not really gonna go into too much detail as to why I think it is digital, but I will just say that a lot of the colors and the shapes are really like opaque, and it looks digital to me. So yeah, I'm going with that. But I really like this one, so I put it at number 9. All right, moving on. Okay, how can you not like this? I mean, I guess I can see like it's giving like Lisa Frank vibes, where it's very, very saturated, and like some of the colors are kind of, it's weird. It's like the colors are clashing with each other, but they're also harmonizing at the same time. Like you do have a lot of contrasting colors. Like there's a lot of green and red, but it's not green per se. It's like a tealish green, and then you kind of have like a pinkish red along with pink, and yeah, purples, and like a little bit of blue. So yeah, it's I love the way that the artist played with the colors with this. And then like you look at it and it's like, what is going on? Like the hands are leaves, or like the feet are leaves, and then it has like these antlers coming out made of like a really thick like wood looking substance, and flowers are coming out. It's weird, but it's so cool at the same time. So I really had to include this in like my top 10. I love how it's another kind of glimpse into like the everyday goings on in the world. You have like the little I'm not sure what they are. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look more to see like what the creatures are like running alongside it. I don't know if it's just huge or if they're really tiny. I forgot which they're not goblins. Hold on. I'm going to look it up. Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna guess that they're Kithkin. It seems like that's the closest we have here. I was saying goblin earlier, but it wasn't goblin, but I was thinking of boggarts, but obviously they're not boggarts, so I'm going with Kithkin with, with them. So I guess the dog is huge? I don't know, but it's cool. And I really like the uniqueness of this creature and what they decided to do with it. So it's really cool. Okay, moving on. Okay, so next we have planes. Full art planes on the Lorwyn side looks so cool. Like, I want this as a poster. I want to go there. I want to walk around. Like, this is so cool. Just the colors. Like, it's not colorful, but A, it's saturated, and then B, the artist chose really good colors that go together. So you have like the blue and kind of like orangish yellow with like a little bit of green dotted here and there, and white. And it's just a very like simple color palette, but they work so well because there's so many details where it's amazing how you can tell everything. Every part is very clear. They don't like kind of muddy into each other, like mix into each other. It's very like clear despite it being only like three main colors and like white. So that's really cool. I love the swirls in the windmill propellers where it's not, all of the curves aren't the same. Like, they have like the same design language, but they aren't like a mirror copy of each other. Like, each one is different, so that's really cool. Going into like storytelling a little bit, it looks like the person or yeah, well, it's so hard to tell. I don't want to just default to person because they try their best to have like a variety, but I don't know. Well, anyway, the creature person on the bridge is like walking away, and he's like in full armor, so it looks like he's going away, but maybe that's like his family at the windmill, like waving him off, like telling him goodbye. There's a whole other many other things you can probably take from this, but that's what I'm going with. But anyway, yeah, it's just a really cool land card. I really like this one. And sorry, before I think I'm gonna go with digital for this one, and then I forgot with the previous one, Vibrance. I think that one is also digital. Okay. Okay, moving on. We have Dawn Hand Eulogist. This card, the art for this card is so nice. And when I was searching for the images for the different cards, I was really looking for like a full art or extended art of this card, and there wasn't one, and I'm trying to understand why, because it's really nice. What really works with this piece, I think, is keeping it kind of like in the like purplish tones. Like in the background, the background is very dark, like you have like those patches of black, but then as you come closer, like you have the figures in the background, they're like a little bit purple, so it's very monochromatic with them, so they don't take up too much of your attention, but they're still there, and it's like slightly darker than the black, I mean, sorry, slightly lighter than the black, and then you come to the forefront with like the main character, and it's still there's still a lot of purple, but then there's like a little bit of the greenish blue, like the teal, and then you have like some pink and white, and yeah, that's so nice and stunning the way they did that. And the character itself, like the elf here, is the face, they did a really nice job with the anatomy. And then I need to look a little bit closer, but yeah, just I love how the light coming from the I think there's like light from the top, like casting down, you can see from the horns, but then also there's like a light coming from it seems like the flower itself, like it's kind of like bouncing off, and you have like the little bit of highlight on the eyes, so it's not like really big highlights, like taking taking over the eye and taking up too much of your attention, but it's just like a little bit at the bottom, and that's a really nice detail. And I really like this. I haven't really gone obviously into the card itself and like what it does, but I love how it's a black colored card where it's really pretty, but it's still, there's like a little, it's called Dawn Hand Eulogist, and like a eulogist is usually at a funeral, so it's like it's pretty, but it also has like a darker meaning to it. So I really like this. I love the duality of this card. And yeah, I'm gonna say that this one is digital also because just the way that the blending is done and just like I said, some of those really light colors are very opaque. So I'm going digital with this one. Okay, so now we are moving into top 5 territory. So for this one, just to help me narrow down and order each of the illustrations going forward, I did come up with a rating system for the different categories. I have use of color, readability, uniqueness, creativity, and storytelling. So this is just what I look for, what I like when I'm looking for, what is it, like backgrounds for my phone or like posters to put up on my wall. So anyway, going off with that, we have one of the Japanese showcase arts. And for this one, it was kind of hard to tell because it looks like watercolor, but you can get that effect with digital. I'm going to say traditional because some of the line work, like the lines are a little bit wobbly and it's not perfect. Again, something you can pull off with digital, but I'm gonna say traditional. Anyway, going to the piece itself, I love the watercolor look of this. It's really pretty, and it's not something that's in some of the other or most of the other cards. And the Japanese showcases are very different. I personally not the biggest fan of it in this particular set. I feel like they should have had the Japanese showcases in the Avatar set because Avatar is like a homage to anime and like Eastern animation and Eastern culture. So it would have been pretty cool to have Japanese showcases for Avatar instead of having it for this set, because the other alternate arts that they had for Avatar, the neon inks, I hated them. I don't like them. And then some of the other art where it's kind of like the sketchy lines, like I'm not the biggest fan. And if you are, I'm so sorry. And like no shade to the artists who did those cards, but I don't like them. And it would have been pretty cool to have the Japanese showcase art for that. But anyway, that's not what happened. I don't have any say over that, so gotta let it go. But anyway, out of the showcase arts for this set, this is definitely my favorite. And if I had to have one of the Mikatat cards, this is definitely it. And unfortunately, a lot of people think so. I don't know with the exact number for the pre-release pricing, but I think this one's like in the thousands right now. If I'm not mistaken, this is definitely like one of the more popular ones. So me getting my hands on this isn't realistic, but I'll try anyway. It's really cool. So yeah, the colors obviously really well done, and the storytelling in this I think was really strong. Like you know what's going on. Like they're trying to attack the giant's foot. The only thing is the arrow is kind of confusing me because you can see the arrows in the background. They're clearly aiming for the feet, but this one bounced off of the toe and now it's going to hit the creature, but they don't seem to notice because they look happy to me. I don't know. So the readability isn't like 100% there, but you can tell where they were going for. Like it's still pretty clear that they're attacking a giant, and yeah, it's really cool. It's a really nice piece. I really admire this piece. Okay, so coming in at number 4, we have Grub's Command. This one I did 4 stars for color because I feel like color wasn't what they were really going for with this. Like they weren't really trying to highlight the color. It was more about the details and the story. So 4 for the colors, but 5s for everything else. And I gonna say that this one is traditional because the colors aren't that saturated. Like I feel like they hit their limit as far as they can go with traditional, so it doesn't have like that very like sharp saturation and opacity that you find with what is it, sorry, digital art. But yeah, I really like this one. They did this with a few other cards where you have the Lorwyn side and the Shadowmoor side side by side, and I really like this one in particular because of all of those small details. Like on the Lauren side, you have the ladybugs, but then you also have like the little skull too, which kind of goes with the creature that it is. But it the hair, the little cobweb. So yeah, kind of going back to where it's not like good versus evil. It's just they're different. It's like the light side and the dark side because there's still like some things like there's a tooth. But the Shadowmoor side is also a little bit more darker, and a little bit more spikier, but you can still tell that they're kind of just like the same creature. On the Shadowmoor side, you have the bat. They look so cute too, like the little bat, the little demon creature thing. I don't know. And like the bones going for the necklace. It's I love the detail in this one, and there's so many details in it. Like you can just stare at it for a while and really appreciate the different things that the artist put into this. And I also like how the fabled frame changes color too, with the different sides. So yeah, I really like this one. Had to put it at number 4. We're going to the top 3 now. So for number 3, I have Bridget, Cletchans, Clans, Clackins, Cletchon's heart. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, I have 5 for colors for this one, and then I have a 5 for the storytelling for this one. Also 5 for the readability because it has it all. I think I'd give it 4 for the uniqueness, creativity, because it's not that unique. Like she's a warrior, and you have a lot of like the motifs that are seen in a lot of other warrior pictures. So it's still really unique though at the same time. But anyway, like I said, I had to do something to help me put these in order, so that's what I did. Anyway, aside from that, yeah, that is so good. And with this one, I want to say that this one is digital because you have a lot of like really clear, sharp lines, despite it having that very like the brush strokes seeming visible here. The edges are still pretty clear, and there's a lot of like smaller details that I think would be really hard, not impossible, but hard to pull off with digital without getting some of the trade-off with like the colors and edges. So it could be traditional, but I'm going to go with digital for this one. Either way, does it really matter as long as it's not fake, I guess. But yeah, and also going to storytelling, I probably said that word like 5 million times already in this video, but if I haven't explained it already, it's not necessarily like there's a story or a narrative in the picture itself, but there's like elements that kind of show who the character is, where the character comes from, and the world that they come from. Like as far as like their background and then like their bring up, and then also like the world that they live in. So here it's you can tell that there's like a lot of influence from like Viking culture and Celtic culture. Like you have the cross on her arrow bag, arrow carrier, and then also you have like the braids in her hair, and yeah, just like the carved things. So you kind of can tell that she probably comes from like a warrior culture, and she's herself a warrior. She's probably going out to battle because she has like she has her armor on, she has her shield, she has her sword, like she's ready to throw down. So you can kind of tell what she's about to do. Maybe she's coming home, but I'd say since she like her armor's still intact, like she's probably heading out. So yeah, there's like a lot of storytelling going on. She has like a scar on her face, so her hair is gray, so you can tell like she's an older Kithkin, and she's been in like a war or two, so probably way more than that, hundreds even. So yeah, there's a lot of like really good storytelling elements going on in this. And then also going back to just like the general world building of Lorwyn Eclipsed, I mentioned before where it's like everything seems handcrafted and handmade and not manufactured. And even I think the choice of giving her like a wooden shield as opposed to like a metal one, and then like the plates and just the armor made out of leather, where it's like you have to work more with like your hands and more like smaller like tools as opposed to like heavy like machinery. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I got a package. I wasn't expecting it. These came by so fast. So anyway, these are avatar cards. So I'll save these for another time, but wasn't expecting that. Anyway, as I was saying, I think I was talking about how everything's like made with like more tools and not heavy machinery. So you get kind of like that handcrafted feel. And the high fantasy and all that good stuff. So anyway, sorry. Moving on. Okay, so now we are at my second favorite piece of art from Lorwyn Eclipsed, and that is Auntie's Sentence. This one is so nice, and I really wish that it was like at least an extended art version of it. When I was looking, I couldn't find one, so maybe they didn't have one. They don't have one, but yeah, I love this one a lot. And it has like fives, maybe the color, maybe like 4.5, but the reason why I did put 5 is because it's kind of the opposite of Meek Attack, where it's like the colors are like really faded out and kind of like vibrant at the same time. But this one, the colors are like extremely muted, and most of it is very dark, but it still looks colorful somehow. And I think that's a really what am I trying to say? Really good choice by the artist here, and it's not really easy to pull off. So yeah, they have a very good sense of color control and also value control, like keeping those colors in the same area of like the color wheel and like the value scale, while also still having like a lot of variety. So that's not easy to do. Another reason why I chose this one and gave it a 5 for storytelling and the rest is because the elf is very bright, and it's kind of obvious what they're doing here, where they have the elf, the blonde elf with like white clothes on and like really fair skin, in contrast to the hold on. Shoot, I forgot what they're called. Hold on. Boggarts. Boggarts. They're like more they're more green, and they kind of blend in with the background and their environment. So it's like you have like this patch of white against against gray, and the elf is the focal point. But like once you look more at the whole piece, you can see what's kind of going on here, where it's like I guess she's put on, or the elf is put on trial, and the auntie, she's just like, what is it? The flavor text is, "Stop whining, elf. The rest of us can see that this is perfectly fair." And obviously, I guess it's not fair. I don't know, but yeah, I love how the elf they're not crying, but you can tell they're sad because like their head is tilted down, and like they're looking down. Their eyes are kind of like they're not closed, but it's just they look defeated, and it's like I don't know. There's nothing I can do. So I think like the storytelling, where I was saying you can tell like the type of world that the characters come from is very present, but there's also like a narrative element where yeah, like the elf was on trial and now they've been sentenced to, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. That sounds scary though, or it looks scary. But yeah, I really like this piece. I really enjoy it. Oh, and as far as digital or traditional, I'm gonna go with digital for this one because the white isn't like super white that you'd get with the digital painting. And the blacks also, they aren't like extremely black, and there's a lot of like when you compare it to the previous one with Bridget, like the edges are very like crisp, and they were able to make it very sharp in a lot of areas. But for this one, it's like a lot of the lines and things are blending into the background or the forms that they're wrapping around, and even like some of the colors and elements themselves are kind of fading into each other. So yeah, I'm going with traditional for that one. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there is a lot of amazing art, and what is it? There's like over 400, maybe 500 cards in this set, so it's impossible to go through everything and showcase all of the art. So I did have some other ones that I liked, so I'm gonna have the different images go by and show the ones that didn't quite make the cut, but I still wanted to put in here anyway because I really like them. And at number 1, we have Bray of Clan Stoutarm. I think the Stoutarm. I think that's it. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to be serious. No, I'm not. But anyways, this is the other card by Jesper Acing. Are we surprised? You shouldn't be, because yeah, I really, 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 really like this piece. There is so much going on, but nothing at the same time. Now, going back to my 15 choice with Oko, like, they're both similar, where it's a character and then there's a background. But what's different about this one is there's something going on, and this giant isn't posing for the camera, like. So yeah, let's talk about what's going on here. Like, she has like sheep. She's carrying sheep, and when you first look at it, it's like, okay, so you have like a giant here, and they have a staff. But then you look at the staff and it's like there's a wolf head on there. Like, what? And then you look more into it and see what she's looking at, and it's a bunch of sheep, like, in a pouch, and she's just like feeding the sheep. What is that? Like, it's so weird. But you kind of get the type of character that this giant is, where it's like, I guess when I was looking more into the the world of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, they were saying like the giants, they're big, so they don't have to worry about too many threats, and they just kind of go around the world and just do whatever they want. So it seems like this giant decided to collect and take care of sheep, and I guess protect them from the wolves. And yeah, it's really cool the way the artist did this. There's like different elements shown, or different elements to explain the character the more you look at it. And then going to the style of it, again, I'm still going with digital for this, but it's so unique. And then also with the contrast, it's similar to the tweeze, where it's blue, well, in this case, like blue and green versus red and like warmer colors. But and this one, there's a lot more variety in the colors, and it's like you have your red, and then like the fair, like warmer tint skin tone, but you also have like purple and yellow, or well, I guess like orange for the hair, and then red for the clothes. So it's not just like that very obvious like difference. Like, there's a lot more going on. And then like even with like the staff, it's like a different color, but it's also warm, so it contrasts with the background. It's so good. And then another thing to help bring focus into the character, yeah, the clouds. And it's not like the clouds are going straight across, like, like when you were a kid, or maybe some of you still draw this, like, I'm not judging you, but you have the clouds and it's like straight, and then it's like the curves, and it's going straight across. But for this one, the artist decided to have the clouds kind of like come in and kind of move or point towards the main character, so that's really cool. So yeah, and then also you have like the handcraftedness of this, like the pouch, this what is it, like quilt work or patchwork, and then you have the staff itself where it's you have some of it like tied up where it curves, and then like the wood itself is a little curvy. Like it's so good. I love it. Yeah, another one where I wish there was glad it's what is it? I think this is extended art, but I'd really love this as a poster. It'd be really cool. So yeah, this is my #1 favorite art from Lorwyn Eclipsed. And that is going to do it for this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for sticking with me in my ramblings, and hopefully I made sense. I really like to hear what your favorite artworks are. Do we have some of the same ones, or did you have a different style that you kind of gravitated towards? Like, please let me know. I don't really have people to talk about the art of Magic. Like, obviously, I play it, or I'm learning how to play it. Like I said, I think I started in whenever Avatar came out. I'd said 3 months, but it might have been longer than that. Anyway, I just have people to play with, but not too many artists around me, so I'd love to talk about the different pieces that came from the set. Again, everything is very subjective. Like, all of the artists are very skilled and talented, else they wouldn't be chosen. So again, this is just what I like, my personal taste. So yeah, love to hear your taste. What did you think? Do you disagree? Do you agree with my choices? Let me know. And yeah, stay tuned. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Next, I'm going to go back a set and do the Avatar, my top 15 favorite Avatar pieces. And a thing I'd like to do is get my hands on a collector booster box for Avatar, and then for Lorwyn, and then see if I can pull some of these artworks. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then if I don't, see if I can trade some of them in to get the ones that I want. Yeah, I do play, but I'm more of a collector, and I'd like to have like binders filled with just like really cool cards. So yeah, anyway, I'm definitely going to be more like collector heavy. Hopefully I can talk more about like the mechanics of the game itself as I get better, but as of now I can't, but I can talk about art, so. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, don't do that. Anyway, bye.